Yeah, how you been, dude?
Yeah. I've been good. I've been good. Well, my aunt. There was a sad moment. My aunt passed away on Monday.
Oh man,
Yeah,
sorry to hear about
it's
that.
okay. Actually, was it Monday or Tuesday?
Dang.
Sorry. Is that terrible that I forget which day? The whole week just felt
Oh,
like all together. Let me think. So my mom, thankfully, my mom made it there before she passed away to Mexico.
this is your mom's sister?
Yeah,
Oh, dang.
the youngest sister.
Wow.
Yeah, she passed away.
You don't gotta go to deep in detail, but that is rough to.
Yeah, cancer.
Dang.
They had cancer, and it was lung cancer, but it went to her brain. And I'm not. I think it might have been like a post surgery thing or something.
What was? I mean, you don't have to say, but I mean, like, how old was she?
I don't know. If I had to guess, my mom's maybe like. I want to say like 12 or 14 years older.
Yeah.
So she must have been in her early, like late 50s.
Wow. That's young. Like young in this today's standard, you know, because
Yeah, it's young.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Dang, that's
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Okay, it's rough.
Yeah, she had a rough life, but dang, I'm starting on the but that happened. So it's not, you're asking me how my week went. That's definitely one,
Dang.
like a significant thing. Um, Work's been hectic. Not hectic, but very like I'm like racing to like get things done. You know.
Hectic in a good way, as far as like you're busy,
I don't know if it's good or bad.
or is it because like it's a hurried kind of like hectic where like you're trying to finish things and
Well, it's more like I need to finish things fast.
mm,
We're in a tight spot. Not, Bank. I'm making it sound a little weird. It's just I think every business goes through this, and especially if it's your first time, like our mistakes in the past are catching up to us, and it's trying to survive that.
dang
Yeah. So
man.
yeah, they're yeah, you can't. It's like sometimes life pardons you, but does it actually pardon you, or just gives you a pass and then you have to deal with it later? You know,
Yeah,
like many things you do and cheat into things. I feel like it's just like a rubber band that's stretching and stretching and stretching. It's either gonna rip or it's gonna just hit you hard. So it's one of those things that we're trying to like make the tension slowly, like lose tension, make that thing. So we're trying to correct things as we go, and part of that app design is one of the solutions. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So, yeah. So it's not necessarily bad things. It's just busy. The bad news is my aunt. Other than that, my kids are really the best part of everything. Yep.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you're talking about these things, and as far as like what I think about is stress. So I
Mm-hmm.
mean, like, what like all of us handle stress differently. You know, we probably some people. I myself, I mean, I the past couple months is like I binge eat, or like I kind of just eat like crappy. Or some
Oh,
people drink alcohol. Some people
I think
resort to drugs. Or
I think it's eating for me.
same here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
eating and sometimes like well, I haven't let myself be too distracted, but I'll try to distract myself usually. But I've been really good the last couple of years to avoid that situation.
Yeah.
Um, However, my kids do take a lot of time from me, and since I work from home, it's a little difficult to not make sure that they don't distract me from work. It sucks to say it that way because they are the most important thing. So it's like if anything, they're not distracting me. They are the objective. But like there's a balance of like getting things done, because if you don't get things done, then your family's not. It's better off if you do your shit.
Yeah.
So balancing that act between being a present father and a working father is, yeah, that one's tricky. It really is tricky. It would help if I had an office away from home, so that at least there's a schedule and my kids could expect like oh, dad's off to work, and then dad's back from work, and then they expect it. Right now, it's just like very back and forth. Like it's at this time that he comes. I try to make it like a long morning with them, and then lunch, and then at night, like I just come to help them put them to bed, and those will be my time windows. Unfortunately, our lunch, our breakfast, and all that, like, it's not very like scheduled. So if I could, talking to you, I realize that really it's just getting those schedules down and making sure you don't go inside the house, making sure they don't see you, because otherwise, if they see you enter and leave, they're gonna be like, "Why does he not love us?" And what sucks is that there's no restroom here where I work, so I have to go inside the house. So it's like, how do I avoid? So I have to call Ab sometimes, and sometimes she's too busy, she can't answer. It's like, are they there? Like, I'm gonna go to the restroom. Please take him away.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Yeah, that's. Yeah, I want to say that's a tough thing when you're working. Well, I say working for. I mean, it is working from home, right?
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, it's the kids are too young to decipher that. Like, oh hey, dad's here all the time. Cool. Like,
Yeah.
let's play. And like,
Yeah.
no, I gotta actually work.
Yeah, and sometimes when you hear your voice, you can't help it. Like, I'll hear Elena knows that I'm here, so she'll like, I can hear from afar, Papa, Papa. Like, I can tell her talking to her mom saying like, Papa's over there. And then sometimes when Abby takes them out to walk, she comes and goes up in the front door over there, starts like banging on it, Papa, Papa. I'm like, oh, I can't ignore it. I have to go open it. Like, I can't help myself.
Oh man, that's. That's just cool. That's just man, I can't wait to be a dad. If God presents me the opportunity.
Yeah.
That's freaking dude. I can only imagine. Like you just okay. I'll check out. Let me see my baby girl.
Yeah, it's cool to like just like one little human like loves the heck out of you. So it's a great feeling.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, that the whole thing that Elon's right when he talks about kids. And have you heard him talk about his kids?
I haven't heard him.
Yeah. Well, he advocates for kids a lot, and like, well, at least publicly he talks about how kids just have a bad rap, and in reality they like the school system. The way he says it, so this is his way of seeing it, is everything in our culture and institutions like have it ingrained in them that being pregnant and having kids is this terrible thing that is going to change your life for the worse, and that being pregnant is a bad news usually. So when in fact, and he argues that we evolved to love kids and we evolved to love to be pregnant, so it's like back then just having kids regardless of your financial situation or whatever, like we were physiologically built to love kids, and we're built to not be alone. So like having kids is not bad news, and not only that, they make you happier. So yeah, that was his position. So I love that he says that, because that's completely true. I mean, yeah, they frustrate me, but yeah, but that's little in comparison to how many great things they do.
Yeah. No, it made me think when you brought up kids. I wanted to go back to last week what you said, and Sam might have sounded kind of harsh to some people, but I think you were speaking in with good intentions. But I do think that some people choose not to have kids because they can't have them. Because I think you were saying, I think you said something along the lines where like, oh, like
last episode.
Yeah, you were saying like, oh, like no, like people who don't believe in marriage, or like they're like, oh, like dude, like they're just hiding, like from not hiding, but you're saying something along the lines of. It's not growing up. It's like it's fun land. Yeah. So I mean, I think it's true to a point, but there are some instances where like couples who can't have kids.
This is true.
Yeah, that's who I thought of, and I was like, okay, well, yeah, there's some outliers to it, but but I mean, I think there are some people that feel like they don't want to be parents because they feel like they're not going to be good parents because they're afraid of like what happened to them.
Yeah.
So I feel like a lot of people
got traumas too.
Yeah, so I don't think they don't want to be parents, but Yeah, but I do believe what you're saying with from Elon, what he said. I think it is true because I'm not saying because there's some couples that say like, oh, let's bring a kid into one, it's gonna fix everything.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah.
But it's
They
like,
use the kids as an excuse.
yeah, it's not that's not what's supposed to happen. But more times than not, like from you, some of our friends, a lot of people I talk to at the gym, that like having kids changes their perspective instantly. Like it like puts the world on its ear, and I mean even Abs talked about it. Like she's like, dude, Patrick, like there's just some things I don't even care about anymore. She was talking along the lines of like with her friends and stuff. And she's like, I just realized like once you have kids, like you just don't care anymore. Like, cause she was talking about some drama like that happened between her friends and so forth. And I was like, dang, like that's real. Like, yeah, cause it puts things in perspective for you. They're like,
Yeah.
as you get older, I think I also realized seeing it at poly too. There's some things that like some kids at poly like worry about, like oh like I don't want to see them like want them to see me because like I look ugly right now, or like I'm in this like this called this aging suit,
Yeah, I gotcha.
and like they'll go down to the U, and like they're like oh I hope no one's there, and I'm like and I was telling my class I'm like dude like they're not gonna understand like this it's not gonna matter in 10 years
Yeah.
like so I think kids put it like fast tracks your mind where like it's almost like a switch it instantly flips for you where like oh like this is the most important thing and like wherever I don't need to worry about things or things I worry about it doesn't matter like it
Yeah.
just we put too much energy into things that we think that matter and in actual reality it doesn't matter.
Yeah, it doesn't.
Yeah.
There's a don't you find this fascinating though? Like it's something I hear a lot. I think more often than not, I hear a lot of people concerned about their financial situation, or like that's like their big motivator, the finances, which is it's no funny business. I'm not saying it doesn't matter, but I'm seeing this like cultural difference, and it's probably similar to the Philippines as well, but in Mexico, like you see these big families, and the the social classes among those big families are on the lower end, and it's not that they're poor because of a lot of kids. That's their situation they're in, but yet they still have kids, and I find this very interesting, like dichotomy between like the American culture and the Mexican culture, where it's like in Mexico, and no longer so much the people that are raised here, because like us who are raised here, we kind of now have this like American perspective on finances and family and being ready for a family. Like you have to have your shit together before you have a family. And in Mexico it's the other way around. It's like they see it, the more kids you have, it's kind of like that's a sign of prosperity, you know? So it's a very interesting mentality, and yeah, I just wonder what you think about that. Since we were talking about kids a little earlier. Yeah.
Oh, you're talking about like from the financial standpoint, or like, or
Well, we were
or
talking about
circumstances?
circumstances.
Like I mean I've heard of that from people too. They're saying like oh like you're never gonna be ready when you have kids.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
you're and it's one of those. I mean it's gonna like feather our way into like what we want to talk about.
Yeah, yeah,
but like when is the right quote unquote time for you to do things? When's the right time for you to start that business?
Yeah.
When's the right time for you to approach that girl or guy that you've been liking? Like, are you gonna wait till like I become this? Once I graduate from poly, or oh hey, once my business earns $1 million, or oh no, once my kids turn 5, or we're never gonna have that right time. I feel like, and I think the best time to do it is just learn along the way. Just do it, and then because I think about like how many people in the world where like you think that they have it all figured out,
Yeah.
and like lo and behold, like we're all trying to figure it out at the same time as we're going. We're failing, and I won't say failing, but we're trying in real time. That's what it is, and it looks like they're being successful, and then some people are, but I think a lot of people think that when people do things like oh he must know a lot of stuff, and sure enough like he probably just tried because he wanted to, and that's and yeah like it's because I was talking to one of my classmates, and I was telling you off camera about where I was done with one of my labs this week. It was actually yesterday. I transferred with this girl to Cal Poly. She transferred from San Jose to Cal Poly, and I've always had this like interpretation of her like oh like she's kind of closed off, or like she's just really like she's cool. She says hi to me, but like she doesn't want to talk. And it's nothing like as far as like oh I think she's cute. Like she's attractive, but I never wanted to approach her. But it's more like I wanted to get. The one thing I'm trying to do this year is I want to get to know more people, and like I'm sorry you had to have a bad week or a sad week, but my week was like totally opposite.
Yeah. Okay. Sorry, I didn't mean.
No,
Where are my manners?
you're good. It's just I feel like this week was like, dude, holy crap! It made me open my eyes a lot more about stuff.
Well, I'm glad you had a good week.
Yeah, it was cool, man. I had some interactions with the classmates, and this one in particular, I was like, dang, like, okay, there's a big age difference here, but we think of things differently. Like I want to go deep into the conversation, but not make it too long. Mm-hmm. But
no, go.
Yeah, so we were
as deep as you want, Patrick.
Okay, all right, cool. Just tell me when to pull out. Oh my goodness, just lost a bunch of listeners there.
Oh gosh.
Okay, so.
Okay, you go.
So there was a lab, and then all of us got done with the lab. I was studying for my functional anatomy class. She was finishing up the lab. One by one, people leave, and it's just us two. And she asked me a question about the thing, and one thing led to another. We were just like talking about. I was like, oh, so like, what else are you taking this quarter? And then I just got to know her on a deeper level as far as like who she wanted to be, and we talked about how she had to be someone, or like she thought she had to be smart to be at poly, which I mean in reality you do in a sense, but she thought like you had to be smart all the time. And she was in the class and she thought, oh man, like I'm gonna be the dumbest one in here. And when the class ended,
that's what she was saying?
Yeah, because she was worried, like, because it's a cadaver class where, like, it's a cadaver's dissection.
Sounds cool.
Yeah, so she felt worried, and then she's like, yeah, by the end of the class, like, everyone was in the same boat as me. And I was like, I told her, I was like, dude, like, I know, like, I'm a lot older than you, but you'd be surprised, like, how many people are in the same shoes as you. Like, I think I'm the only, like, old person at poly, but, like, there's so many other people at poly, like, my age or maybe even older. But it was just a good conversation because, I don't know, again, I want to thank you for like letting us do the podcast again.
Yeah.
Because I think there's something about having a one-on-one conversation. And again, like there was no sexual tension, there was no attraction or anything, but it was just literally just us like being vulnerable. Because I told her, I told her about my things that I've gone through. She's told me about things that she's gone through where, like she like wasn't sure of like who she was. Like, am I fit to be at poly? Like, dude, what the hell? And I was like, and then she told me like, oh yeah, like there was this moment where like yeah, like I am worthy of stuff. And she told us like, oh yeah, like remember that teacher that we took? Like, she told us that we are the cream of the crop, and, like, we have to really believe that in ourselves and have that confidence. And I wanted to tie that into what you were talking about the society is where... Do you mind if I share what you sent me a picture of?
Oh yeah, go ahead. Yeah,
okay,
I'll bring it up actually.
It's a really cool like story behind it because it ties in. I'm like, oh damn, like there's like it's tying it into all of this. You know?
I gotcha. Yeah.
So I don't know if Sam's gonna put this in post edit, but
I feel like I do.
Dude, Sam looks so freaking like. Dude, look at this guy. Dude, I mean, has Ab seen this picture? Did you show Ab this picture?
Yeah.
What'd she say? She's like, what happened? I remember she said that to you before.
Was like, I remember she's like, what happened? No, what did she say? Well, I'll have to ask her, and then I'll put the text.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. So, if people like once Sam puts this in post edit, like this picture Sam described, the picture is him. He approached a blonde.
Yeah.
Is it cool if I get?
Yeah. Go ahead.
So he approached a blonde, got turned down. But if you look at the picture, Sam doesn't look like he got turned down. Like it looks like he was like, oh yeah, look at with this coffee in his hand. It's like yeah, what's up? Like. But I think that's the thing is when it comes to, because she was talking, my classmate was talking about having imposter syndrome, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I think there's something to learn about being rejected or not having your best days. Like your confidence can't unwaver. It has to stay the same.
Yeah.
Because you always have to remember that you're worthy of the things right now. Like you're capable of the things of what you're thinking you're doing right now. And I think even for myself, I can say there was times where I feel like, oh no, like I'm not graduating from poly. I'm not gonna like ask that girl out, or oh I'm still living with my mom's house. I'm not gonna ask her out, or oh like I'm not gonna do things because like I'm not there yet. I'm not this person yet. And so like I won't say give yourself permission to go out and be the person that you want, but give yourself permission to be that confident person that you've always been dying to be.
Yeah.
Because when I thought that picture, I'm like, damn, there's something to learn from that. Because I told Sam, like, I even texted him, hey, like, dude, the picture says 1,000 words. Like, you can't tell if you got rejected or you pulled their number, because look at your facial expression. You can tell like, oh, like dang, because you may see it because you see like, oh, I remember that moment.
Did you think that I looked down there, or it wasn't until I told
No,
you what happened?
yeah. If you didn't tell me like, oh, I got rejected, I'm like, oh, what the heck, like, dude, you look like, oh yeah, I got her number or something. That's why I'm like, I was legitimately thinking that, and that's the one thing behind text is like I kind of don't like where it looks like tone wise like I could be like someone could be talking shit to you, or like if they can mean this wrong, but I legitimately said like you couldn't tell if you got rejected.
Yeah.
There.
So I remember here. So what happened was, how it is this girl was walking, and then I'm walking next to her, and usually what happens is you make a little opener, and then you kind of stop, but you tell her that you're not gonna take too much of her time. But really, what happened was,
you fumbled the bag.
No. So she kept walking as I was talking to her, so it made me feel like I was like chasing her, and she was totally ignoring me. And it just kept walking and drinking her coffee and everything. And at some point, I think in my head I was like, okay, I'm chasing. I should just stop. And so I stopped, and I walked the other way. And that's me turning around, and Kier, my wingman, decided to take a picture of me when I left. And I remember when we started, I think we were trying to, this was like our third time out together, and we were getting better. And so one of the things we were doing is just kind of not necessarily motivate each other, but we start, essentially this is me walking from a rejection. Yeah, and he took a picture.
I'm telling you, bro, like if I could be like you, anytime rejection happens to me, like I want to be that. Like, look at dude, you look like you handled that pretty well. Man.
Yeah, it was. By that time, I was used to it, but that was a hard one, because that was the first time. More often than not, I think like 90. I want to say like up to like 95 to 99% of the time, people do stop and at least exchange a word. Very rarely do they just like ignore you.
Can I ask, what city? Or
this is Santa Cruz.
Wow. Oh, see, and I feel like, yeah, like, depending on city, too, if, like, the busy, like, say if you're in New York, I feel like New Yorkers, I feel like they wouldn't.
Actually, no, this is Monterey. This is Monterey. Cannery Row. Yeah, that was Cannery Row.
Okay.
Yeah. So, yeah, I was there. Yeah. The day went well, though, for the most part. And, yeah, and I think the key thing, like you said, like, if I was worse, I would probably be, like, frozen. And I'd just be like, yeah, and the thing is, you just gotta remember not let it get to you.
Well, because you like you said, you could have been that, I wouldn't say friend, but the one person that you were with, like, you could have just frozen, like, said, like, I'm not you, I'm staying in the car.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You could easily been that. But, no, when I had that conversation with my classmate, I was like, yeah, I think I just opened something in my mind, like, no, like, yeah, I deserve to do things that I want to do. I'm at Poly, like, I need to make the most of this. I need to stop, because I ran into someone at the gym, and I haven't seen him in a while. He looked really excited to see me, and it's cool, like, when you see someone, like, I talk really fast when I haven't seen somebody in a minute, so I had to, like, really contain myself. But long story short, I told him, I was like, yeah, you know what, there's things in your life that happens to you, like, whether it's a death in the family, a breakup, rejection, all these things can compile and make you into a person that wants to be hardened and like not open up into the world anymore. Because that's happened to me. Like, I remember my first breakup in 2016. Like, I was a long relationship of 5 years, and it changed my mind where, like, I was like, you know what, I don't want to try anymore. You know, I'm not gonna be outgoing anymore. It's not worth it. I'm not gonna be that happy, friendly guy anymore. It's not worth it. But I told him, I was like, you know what, being more experienced and going through the years, like, no, it is worth it to try again, man. Like, you can't just let this one moment or one experience just make you into a harder person. I feel like I was a definitely, I won't say a victim, but I was definitely a person that let that happen to me.
Yeah.
Like, a lot of things in my life, I let it harden me, like through breakups, just friendship falling outs. Yeah. Like, those things can definitely affect you in a way. If you don't have like I said, positive voice or friends to talk to you, then it can really just shape you not for the worse, but it can change you to a person where you don't want to be, and then you wake up years and you're like, damn, why was I like that? Why did I let that affect me?
Mm-hmm.
And so that's what I'm saying. I think the society can teach you as far as like rejection and just not letting things affect you as much as they should. Like, don't get me wrong, like rejection sucks, but
Yeah.
it helps you like flip the switch and like, okay, like let's go, like
Yeah.
let's not let this
Yeah,
affect
I
all day.
think the society didn't necessarily know. Like they didn't have explanations for things, but they knew that what worked, and you followed that, and from that you deduce what exactly is happening. So like, for example, they did like make sure that one things they would like the whole thing about inner game is really about you helping yourself heal, but is without anyone else. Isn't that interesting? Like, so it was like they helped you work with your inner like self, and it was something, and you could go through courses, you would have to do this, but it was something that you do with yourself. And then there was like so approaches would go like I'm trying to remember all the different stages. So when you approach, like they had it like divided into like 5 steps. I want to say it was 5 or 4. So it was the opener, which was like passive dialogue. Then you go to a tract. So a tract would be just making yourself being playful, making them feel like you're a fun guy. And then there was like, I want to say rapport, that's where you connect. And so that's, if there's any, so inferring from these steps, it's interesting that for a guy, you have to, like, we, in this society, we would feel like we had to do many steps before you even get to the vulnerability part. Which I find it interesting. Like, us having this conversation is making me think of that. It's like, well, I wonder if there's something to that from a guy's perspective. Like we can't just open up right away, which I find interesting. So once they feel like they're invested in you, then you can start connecting. But it's funny because that the relationship doesn't start. Now that I think of it, the true relationship between you two, or even between friendships, doesn't really start until you establish a connection through something vulnerable, right? You don't get to trust someone without actually opening up to them, right? So you might be friendly with someone, but you haven't gotten to that step of connecting with someone unless you open up to them. Because there needs to be, I don't know, which I find interesting. Where was I going with this? But yeah, the society was doing like there's a lot of things like men could learn from what these underground like dudes were doing, and teaching each other. And I guess it's really cool to see that a lot of men exchange like thoughts. It's kind of like, how girls like talk about their relationships with other girls, and then they go and like lock themselves somewhere, or like they have conversations in text and they constantly talk about us. Us guys don't really talk about that, but this society was that, like it was a place where we all got to talk about our relationships.
Dang.
It was so, and that helped. So why not among guys do we not go into more detail? Which I think when you're with a friend, like for example, yesterday I met one of my friends. You remember Jesus? The dude that went to the East Coast. He was here with me, and we, like we were friendly. Here? Yeah, he was here. Cool. Yeah, we were just friendly, and then really we can't get back to our friendship until we open up to each other. And when we do, it's the greatest thing ever, because you're like, okay, we're loosening up. We're now, because I hardly interact with him anymore, because it's been a really long time since he moved away. So you always start again, but you don't get to rekindle friendship unless you open up to that kind of stuff. Dang. And then we talked about, once we did that, we were like loosening up. We're more like doing stuff.
I'm thinking about like, so what is it because if you don't get to open up and loosen up, and like you were saying, is it because like, I want to say you're not relatable or you're not human? But is that what makes you like, okay, cool, like we get to like actually like rekindle our friendship because we're talking about real stuff now. It's not like just, oh hey, you remember the concert, or oh hey, like, oh like what about the song, or hey, how's the wife, or
Yeah.
not superficial things, but where it's just like not I guess it is small talk, but yeah, I feel like there's something there, like you said, with when it comes to like talking about real stuff. I think that's there's a deeper connection. I feel like, and that could, like I said, like with the connection that I made with that classmate, I was like, dude, I never thought she was gonna open up to like. I thought it was like I was gonna graduate and like, oh, she's just gonna be the girl that I just remember that was in my class. But now I remember her, and as far as like we're really cool, and
Yeah.
because the longest time for me, I was like, well, I can't relate to these poly kids. Like I can't relate. Like
Yeah.
what am like I'm 10, 12, 13 years older, but then part of me was just like, no, like there's food, there's poly, you're a student at poly, there's common things that you can think of. You just I think I just automatically like made it an interpretation in my head, or maybe an assumption that I was like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna go to poly, like I'm just gonna go do my thing, like these kids are way too young for me. And I just that like that's why I feel like I had a good week, because I've had interaction with her. I had an interaction with one of my classmates from functional anatomy. It was a guy, and like he was just like, "Hey man, so word on the street is you're a professional bodybuilder." I was like, bro,
Word on the street.
I was like, who told you this? And I looked around. I'm like, oh, it's Ellie, right? And Ellie is this guy that I had in my 319 class that he found out I was like 32 at the time, and he ended up finding out like I did like bodybuilding shows. And I was like, it was Ellie, right? And he's, oh yeah, that was in, bro. And I was like, and then so as soon as like class ended, he's like, dude, so tell me what's up with bodybuilding. And I was like, yeah, I did a couple shows, and blah, and I showed him pictures. Like, oh, dude, like you're legit, bro. Like, and then, like he seemed so excited. He's like, dude, like, can I grab?
Dude, you are a different person though when you're on like you're like I would looking at you look buff and really well put together, and like you look really healthy.
Yeah, thank you.
But when you see it, like when you're on the show, you do look totally different, you know? So it's
like
it's kind of fascinating
in
to
like
see.
what way?
You're just transformed into some other person. No,
Like
I'm not,
like personality wise, or
no, it's just you. It's one thing to see you like in pictures on the show, and one thing to like see you here, and like even though clearly you're the same person by your face, you just look like you transformed, and really you just do like little minor tweaks.
Yeah.
You transform a lot.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
It's
like,
fascinating. Yeah.
Yeah, like it's yeah. So he was.
And
he
then
was
a picture of you right here.
oh my god.
Tell us about this. I'm just kidding.
But he was like, oh yeah, dude, let me grab your number. Like we should get a lift in sometime, dude. And then, like he was interested in competing. That's why. And he showed me his Instagram, and I was like, dude, like you look freaking amazing, bro. Like
What else you got?
yeah. So he wanted to work. He's this tall, like 6'3", like dude from Paul. I'm like, dude, like he's a stud, like for sure. And so it was cool. I had that interaction with him because, I don't know. Like I've always feel like this. I don't feel like that person what people make me out to be. Like you know, like they'll be like, dude, like you're so jacked. Or even my lab teacher, he was just like we were doing the lab that we're talking about, where like we had to feel the art, like the pulses in like numerous places. And my partner, you know, he's a lot skinnier, like leaner. And then when it was my turn, like the teacher came by, and he was just like, oh yeah, and like, you know, for more muscle mass guys like this guy, like it's gonna be hard to feel the artery, or like the pulse. And I was like, in my head, I'm like, who's he talking about? Like in my head, I'm But I was like, oh,
this guy isn't turning around.
Yeah, I don't know. It's because maybe I don't know. I just, like I said, maybe I.
So you didn't have girls lining up to be your partner so they could touch you over?
I mean, I'm sure they wanted to, but like, yeah. I mean,
like, come here. They don't bite. They might jump, but
I
they
just
don't
make
bite.
that my boobies bounce. I don't know. It's just, it's weird because like I don't know. Maybe it's because, and that's why I want to take back to what my classmate Kaylee said, because one of our teachers said like we're the cream of the crop, and I was like, she's like, yeah, well, like Patrick, we really are the cream of the crop, and it's not like a cocky way, but it's for me, it's like, yeah, like dude, you are that guy, like, and like for like, you know, hipster terms are like what is it, Gen Z, you. What is it? I'm him. Like, I don't know if you heard that, but like, I'm him. Like, I'm that guy. Like, you have to have that full confidence in yourself. Yeah. And I don't know. I think that's why I say I had a good week, because it kind of made me realize, like, dude, like, yeah, you put in this work, and like physically, educationally wise, like why are you waiting until when you graduate from poly, or why are you waiting until you do a bodybuilding show to feel like you're this, like you're an amazing dude in any part of your life, whether you're like on the way to that journey of graduating or you're not doing a bodybuilding show. It doesn't matter if you're 4% body fat or like 20% body fat. Like, and even for yourself, like you should remind yourself, like you're this badass. Like don't ever forget that. And I feel like we sometimes lose sight of that
Yeah.
sometimes.
Does it motivate you to be positive?
Yeah, for sure.
You find yourself like positive thinking helps you motivate you.
Absolutely. Like what
Yeah.
like we were talking about, I feel like that's why I'm trying to develop that positive voice with myself. But I think it goes back to where like one negative thing can just like, nope, you're back at ground zero.
So what do you think about like the meme about like how men find motivation in adversity? Like for example, you know how a lot of military, like the whole military way of training, where a guy's just like, again, it's a meme, but a guy like yelling at you like you're a piece of shit or whatever, and they find motivate, and guys are like continuously working out on these like you could be better, you could always be better, you know?
Yeah. Or think about when a guy goes to the breakup, like the memes that were like, oh, he's gonna go to the gym now and like be somebody else now. Like
Yeah.
I
What do you think of that? Like that meme, and I don't mean meme, but like memes on the internet, but more like what the meaning of the word meme, which is just like a shared experience among people.
But there is like some truth to the meme in a sense, right?
Yeah.
Because but I think there is some truth to that because I feel like I think that's why, like, I don't know if you ever hear like people when like they say, oh dude, good job, like, oh no, like I used to get this comment right back when people like, oh dude, you look ripped. I'm like, dude, thanks, I'm trying, like,
Yeah.
or like I it's because I think we don't want to ever say that we're there. Like I think I've
Oh,
had
I
this
see.
discussion with you because if you say that we're there, then we're just gonna be contemplate with like where we're at in life.
True.
But I think like you gotta find that balance where like, okay, you can celebrate the small wins, but know that you're still striving to like further your business or work on your body or education wise. But I think, yeah, I think that is, I don't know why that is, huh? Like I feel like we're always constantly working towards something, and I don't know if it's because like that's what men are supposed to do. Like we're so supposed to be constantly working on something or working on ourselves or working on a business or but I think there is some truth to that because I feel maybe it's society wise they've built men up to be this super human being that can withstand anything and be bulletproof and oh look at Sam, he's working so hard, he's doing two businesses, juggling three businesses now, like look at him, and, like because I think there's something to that because I think I remember when I was when imagine skinny me at the gym. I remember like no one wanted to talk to me. No one was willing to compliment. No one was willing to like I don't know, like give me, oh hey, you like, do you want to use this next, like the machine? But I remember when I started getting like doing shows, I started looking ripper. I knew like people were just like, oh hey, you look freaking ripped, or like, oh hey, do you want to use this next? Or I think it's something admirable when a man works hard on himself because I don't know. I think it's basically like a man making nothing out of something, and I'm not saying like you as a human being that's nothing,
You need
but
something out of nothing.
yeah. Wait, what?
You said nothing out of something. It's
Or something out of nothing. Yeah, I'm sorry, but yeah, I
We
think.
had something here. No,
Whoa!
nothing.
What happened? He's like,
It's incredible. Disappearing act. Yeah.
it's sleight of hand.
Yeah.
But I think there is something admirable about that, right? Like,
Yeah, because I'm trying to think. Yeah, it's a weird balancing act, right? Because like I remember me doing this society, like a lot of people couldn't pass that threshold of like I'm terrible. I'm stupid. I'm not gonna do this anymore. You know, because they get rejected. I think the people that did go through were the people that were like, okay, I've had enough of my miserable life. A lot of people were like that, and they had like. They accepted the fact that some of them resented women. Some of them admitted the fact that they need help. And it was that, like, opening up. And the motivation was not like our motto was never in the whole thing of like, oh, you're good as you are. I was always like, you have this high potential and you got to do your work to get there, you know? So it was, but at the same time, like you were saying, you have to allow yourself to say like, I have like I can be that guy, or like I have it in me to be that, you know. And it's just I have all these like bad layers that are not letting me come out. So it's just like you have to work and peel those layers off, you know. So, yeah, this weird balancing act of making sure that you know your worth, like you said, you know that you have it, you know, you are that guy, but you need to let it out, and it takes a lot of work. Yeah, and then yeah, it's interesting. What is it about a man who work hard to get there? You know, it's because like if you don't have that motivation of that aim, at least in men, I don't know much about women, so I'm sure it's similar with women. I wouldn't be surprised if it's similar with women. I just don't know for sure.
I think I'm not gonna say like, hey, like we're men, but I feel like women obviously they feel feelings a lot more. I think it affects them a lot more for sure.
Yeah, I'm just trying to think of like, well, like the thing about men, they if you don't have an aim, you just like you end up just like closing yourself in the whole world more and more. You isolate yourself more and more and more.
Dang.
And then a lot of them end up in depression. There's something weird about the psyche of a man to need an aim. If they don't have an aim, they're just gonna just become a hermit and die. You know?
Like that aim could be like, I want to buy myself a new car. Oh, hey, I want to like,
yeah, it's
I want to
weird,
get a
right?
like. It has to be some sort of like motivation, right?
Yeah.
And we were
Like,
talking about
it's goal or like I guess goal oriented.
Yeah.
We have there's this thing to chase. You know, there's the like if we think of like mythology, like the King Arthur in search of the chalice, right? The the chalice of like the the what's you know the legend I'm talking about, right?
I mean, I know King Arthur.
In
yes,
the
yes,
search
yes.
of
I don't know about
the
the
goal,
chalice
the Holy
and stuff.
Grail. That's what I meant.
Yeah.
In search of the Holy Grail, like, and there's all these stories about men like in search of something of that particular thing, and we are always. It's weird to see that. That's like I think that's manhood in a nutshell. You know, like if we ever had to put it in a nutshell, like in the most clear terms, it's not like a definition, but it's a story of a man in search of the Holy Grail.
Yeah.
You know.
No, definitely. I was just, I wanted to reply to something that you were talking about, but
About women.
it was something about like, oh, it's. I was thinking about something that we said in a previous episode,
Yeah.
but it's because we were talking about voices, right? Like we're talking about good voice or bad voice inside, and I think it's hard to because. I don't know if everyone's seen like this documentary. It's The Last Dance. It's with Michael Jordan, but
Yeah, Netflix one.
yeah, it's a really good documentary. But there was a big like meme that came out about it. It's like you like guys made like Michael Jordan made up a reason, but it was a made up reason for this opponent. Like he didn't say it. He didn't say anything bad about him. It was like, oh, this guy thinks I'm old, huh? Or like, oh, he thinks I can't give it. Like I can't like dunk on him. He made that in his mind, like to like as motivation, right? But I think that's why, like I said, for me, it's or I mean maybe a lot of us too. But I think it's hard to not listen to that negative voice in us. Like when I'm saying like, oh, dude, I have like that's why I have that good inner voice in me now. Like, oh, today was a good week. But if I have one bad thing, like it affects me like greatly. I'm like, oh no, you're ground zero. But it's because I feel like voice wise. We listen to that voice and like, oh yeah, like when we're good, like, oh, the voice is right, and then like the negative person's like, yep, we listen to the voice regardless because it was right all these times. And so like regardless if that voice and I'm like, oh, Patrick, you can do the bodybuilding thing. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna listen to that voice because like I won trophies, I got to Cal Poly,
Yeah.
and so that's why I'm gonna listen to the negative voice because it's the same. I think it's the same thing.
Yeah.
When in reality it's not.
I see.
You know. And so that's why I think it's easy to listen to the negative self-talk because at least I kind of confuse it. I'm like, yep, that thing's right because like the voice has been right so many times when I did bodybuilding, Cal Poly, like all this stuff. It was right about all those things. So why would it not be right about the negative self-talk?
What are aims you have right now? Because like you've accomplished a lot. So you're at Poly now. That was an aim. And you made it. Now and then you've done a lot of you've had aims for every bodybuilding show. You've had now you want to work on your masters as soon as you're done, and then you're also talked about like finding a proper spouse, you know, and things like that. I wonder when does it end? You know.
No, dude, we said that when we were at that Schumann. When we were at Schumann, right? Like,
At this Schumann.
we were at the Schumann.
Yeah.
We were talking about when is it going to be enough? Like we're always gonna, and I could keep bouncing around these things, but like you said, in the society where like you have this potential, like, but I think there's something to that where like if you're always chasing this carrot, like I'm chasing my potential, I'm chasing my potential. When are you gonna reach the quote unquote potential?
Yeah. Like when are you good enough? Right?
Yeah, and so I mean I know for sure my aim is like you said you hit the last one. I want to have a spouse eventually. I talked with your wife like I want to have kids, like a family of my own, and I think personally goal is I've reached everything I wanted to do. I can happily say like I've definitely like if I were to like go see the 13 or 12-year-old me and be like, hey, like you're gonna compete in bodybuilding, like when you get to this age, you're gonna do pretty good. Like I think that guy would have been so freaking proud, like, you know? So
whoa, no way.
yeah, like I was like, damn, like why am I not happy about that? Like, dude, you competed at the highest level naturally, like, and like people think you're on roids when I'm like, dude, like I haven't even touched a single needle, like it's fucking crazy.
Yeah, that's right. You went against the grain and did some training that is not unorthodox training, right? That most people weren't doing. So like I remember, like one of the things that I remember you saying was that one of the typical things is dry fast, right? Like no water thing.
As far as like in the prep of bodybuilding, like in the weeks coming to the show, yes.
Yeah, you would do things. You would say like, I want to try this time this way. You know.
Yeah.
That was cool to see that.
See, and dude, the same thing that you said that's cool to me is like that's like for how I see you because remember I said like you're a trailblazer. Like,
okay.
Like I was willing to take those risks. Like not a lot of people are willing to pay like because it costs money to enter a show, right? A lot of people are gonna take that risk, so they're just like, I'm just gonna do the same thing because it got me the same results. But for me, I was like, let me try something different. Let me see what results I get this time. Am I gonna get first place this time, or am I gonna get a bad place? And I didn't care. I was like, let me see what the results are, and that's why I can show you the pictures. But like, I look two totally different. Like, I mean, there's parts I like in both different shows, but I can show you like, oh yeah, I tried something different in both shows, and that's why I say with these like there's something admirable as when someone does something against the grain or tries something. I think it's really, really cool when someone does that.
Yeah, well, you remember that, it was, I want to say it was Seth MacFarlane talking with, was it Steve-O from Jackass? I don't remember. He was in a podcast, but essentially he talked about the time that Seth MacFarlane met Kanye West.
I might have heard the story.
Kanye West goes to Seth MacFarlane, listen to this, and you know Seth MacFarlane's really into like the classic big bands and like Sinatra and all that stuff. He has no idea about hip hop, but he put it, and then it was like this really hard music, and then Seth MacFarlane's like, okay, he doesn't know what to do, and then I think we'll just have to put the clip. It's hilarious because what is Kanye was like, so what'd you think? And then Seth MacFarlane's like, just comes with one of the like some bullshit answers like, I think you knew the rules, and you broke the rules. You know, and the dude's like, you fucking right. You know, some shit like that. But I'm not saying that. I'm not joking about you, but like you did come to a level. The point of that that video was to make fun of that situation. I don't mean to make fun of the situation. I just remembered it. But so bringing it up didn't make sense. But but it reminded me. Sorry, ADHD coming in. But but the whole thing about you were at a level in it where you were comfortable going outside of the box and thinking things that people weren't thinking about. So I thought
dude, it's because again I've done countless of shows and I want to say like that was like my 8th show already and I've done it the same exact way for the previous 6 times, and so like the 7th time I was like, you know what, I'm gonna do something totally different, and then it was probably some YouTube videos and I did like my own research on it as far as like looking into like science publication. I'm like, okay, like, there's some science to this, like I'm gonna try it this show, and if it works it works, and if it doesn't, like, hey, I tried.
Yeah.
But I think there is something where like you're like you said that one person's side, like you're I want to say I was sick of tired of, oh, I've got 2nd place, or, oh my god, I got 1st place, oh my god, I'm sick of tired of this. Like no, it was more like, okay, my body looked like this for these shows. What if I introduce water right here? Or what if I give myself X amount of carbs?
And you still ended up being in the top places.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
Yeah, I think there's something to that where you just gotta like try stuff, and who knows, like it might work out better than you ever expected. Like, and that's I don't know, like, yeah, that whole conversation, my classmate opened my eyes and was like, yeah, like, you know what, like I'm done waiting when I'm graduate. I'm done waiting till like when I get my dream job or my dream spouse to like act the person I want to be. I'm slowly like opening that shell back up to like who I was, and I give thanks to this podcast again, just because I don't know that there is something about when you get to like be vulnerable with a friend and just bounce ideas off of each other and just be able to just speak off your mind, and
Yeah.
there's something about that for sure.
Yeah, and I bet you that you probably didn't feel comfortable. I mean, no, that's not. You probably didn't start connecting, and you didn't feel like you were connecting until those like things happened, right?
Like with the poly students.
Yeah.
That's what like clicked with me. I was like, dude, like okay, like no, like you're. Yeah, although you have this big age gap with kids, like dude, like you are like some of these people look up to you, or hey, like that girl that you thought that was like not wanting to talk to you or open up to you, like there you go, like dude, it was just us two. Like she could easily been intimidated, but the fact that I let my walls down and she let her walls down, we were just literally bouncing like.
When was that?
This was literally yesterday. Yeah, and I like it was the same day, and I was like, holy crap, like okay. Like, I feel like I'm connecting with people.
Okay, you just started poly, but I'm sure you're connecting a lot more with people as.
No, definitely. Like, that's what I told my friend Angel, the class we've been talking about. But no, these next quarters, I'm trying to make the most of them. Just connect with as much and as many people in my classes.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was a good week, man. And I just feel also like I feel like diet wise, like I'm starting to feel a lot better. I just done a lot of research with myself, and I know like. I just feel like all aspects of my life are just like, okay, cool. Like, it feels good, man. I'm taking advantage of this, like, feeling great because I remember the time, I've easily remember the times where I feel quote unquote shitty because of my diet or, oh, like, my assumptions were true or listening to the bad voice, that negative voice in my head. But it feels great, man. Like, yeah I can't say much more about it, but.
It's awesome, man.
Yeah.
Well, I'm waiting for like.
Sam, I have a girlfriend. I know. Or like,
I'm not trying to pressure you into a girlfriend. I want to hear. It's gonna happen soon. I can almost feel it.
We had
maybe not with her. I'm not saying with that, but just like the more relationships you're in, the more likely you're gonna be able to really connect with them.
Yeah, no, I that's why I'm trying to like make myself like. All right, time to like. All right, the old I want to say the old Patrick's back, but like, all right, like.
Yeah, I got you.
Dude, I feel good again. I don't know what it is, but yeah, it's good realization from all that stuff. I did have an interaction at the rec center. I'll say off camera. I mean,
oh really?
I mean, it was nothing more, but I was like, okay, like that's a handkerchief, like.
Oh, it's annoying.
Yeah.
Okay, you'll have. You know what? Okay.
Yeah.
You could say it whenever.
Sure.
That's cool. A handkerchief incident.
Yeah. Yeah, man. So it just. I mean, there was.
Was it a fancy handkerchief or?
It was like an oblivious. I mean, not oblivious. It was an obvious handkerchief, and I was kind of playing like dumb to it, but I was like, even my classmate was like, dude, like she was checking you out. Like she definitely. She basically put herself in the vicinity where it was so close. I'm like, dude, like why is she like next to us? There's like literally space over here, and I was like, and I look back, I'm like. Oh, okay.
I would have done something stupid like.
But the thing is,
no, I'm not trying to say that you should have done it. Like...
I was going to, but then she left.
Oh.
Because I could. So pardon me, it was a genuine question. I was like, hey, like, do you compete? Like, I was gonna ask her because she was posing in front of the mirror, like doing these things, and then like my classmate was saying like she giggled and stuff in front of us, and I was like, she's like, dude, like I think she was like, you can tell, like she put herself in there for a reason.
So very okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
But no, I don't know. I just like, and like you said, I think when reaching to that potential, it's little moments like that. Like whether depending where you're at in your journey, like feeling attractive again, like just people like checking you out, or like maybe like a girl smiled at you or a guy smiled at you. If you are the opposite, if you're listening to this podcast, if a guy smiled at you, or like hey, like he flirted with you, or I flirted, like you just need those little moments of a reminder to yourself that yes, you have this potential, like you know. And that's what I was telling my classmate was like all you need is just that one reminder of you doing good on a test that no, like, okay, like, no, I can hang, like, no, like, this imposter syndrome, get out of here,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
like that's what I'm saying, that, like you said, like reaching to your potential, like there's little reminders or little things that need to show yourself that nope, you are that person, like don't let that negative voice beat you down.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, so it was a good week, man. I mean, feels good, dude. I felt like rejuvenating myself, confidence wise. But I also like you said, like with that picture we look at right now, as we still have it up here.
I don't want to pop it up again.
We're not gonna pop it up, but it just, you need to like have unwavering confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like
yeah. I appreciate that you pointed that out, because now that I think of it, yeah, like I was in a, would I still act that way back then as a, like if today if I wasn't married and I got rejected, I don't know, but I do remember being like, I do remember, and I didn't acknowledge it, but I was pretty like, um I had a lot of momentum and a lot of like, me at that stage was really hard for someone to tear me down. So I had a lot of like grit. I had a lot of like motivation. I had a lot of like, I felt unstoppable.
dang.
No.
And so like when you're on that momentum and all of a sudden you hit like a speed bump, like what did that feel at the moment? Like, cause you're saying you did like get butthurt at the moment.
Yeah,
Like,
but I think I recovered like really fast.
Okay, that's good
that.
then.
Yeah.
I think that's what it is though. It's like you need to know like things are gonna be okay.
Yeah.
I don't want to say things are gonna be okay, but it's just, this is just a speed bump. It's just it's a redirection or whatever you want to talk about. But
Yeah.
yeah.
There was moments where like things would go bad, but everyone, you just have to keep going. I mean, it was so awesome. Like there's so many things I'm like reminiscent on, like moving like crowds of people. Like you'd have so much charisma that you're able to pretty much like move the whole club of people, just like moving around, and you just felt like you were on top, like, oh dude, I'm controlling all these people. Well, I mean, not that I was controlling, but like the fact that like it was not a position that I was used to, so I could see it all the time. And some people are naturally have that kind of charisma. They could move a whole crowd. Me, it was only through a bunch of that training that like all of a sudden like you just radiated all this like this fun towards people, and people wanted to be around you, which was such an odd feeling.
You had a like aura about you, right? Like,
yeah.
Like I want to say people gravitated to you, but like it's almost you put your presence there.
Yeah.
And boom, like things just happen.
Yeah, and I remember I sucked at getting, one of the things that at the time, like I sucked at getting compliments. Like people would, like I remember the guy that took this picture. We were at a bar, like the first, when we left, the first time, like after our first time trying to be wingmen to each other. He was older than I was. He was in his early 40s. I was mid 20s. And it was an interesting thing that he told me, like he wanted me to continue, because he told me like, you just have this energy, like just like it wasn't that I had like literally like hyperactive. It's more like you have this really positive energy that makes me feel confident,
That's
so I was
cool, man.
That was a really cool compliment he gave me. I'm like, thank you.
that is something like you want to like bottle and like, okay, I just want to remember this.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Yeah. And actually I did realize from there that a lot of, I think because of that, because of what he said made me think of like I could help other people. So I did have this motivation in the society where it's like I could help more people. And I think I still have that when I see like friends from poly or anywhere that they're or like yourself. It's like I feel like I can help you, like let me it's not as bad as you think. And I kind of want to be in, like with other friends. I've done it with other friends. So it's like, okay, you need help, I'll go with you.
Yeah.
And I feel like I just have I can offer them a service and hopefully help them conquer that fear.
That's how I feel with that classmate that wanted, like, because I had a part of me, like, again, in a time in my life where I was like up in bodybuilding, I wouldn't say I was not gatekeeping, but it's again, I'm in a better frame of mind now. But part of me was like, I'm not gonna share the secrets because like
Oh yeah,
this
I know what
makes
you
me
mean.
special. Like if I share it, then everyone else is gonna have it. You know, like
Yeah, this is weird.
there,
That's a weird feeling.
there's
Yeah, I know
something
what you
about
mean.
that where like you think that it's scarcity, and you're just like, no, like this makes me, and like obviously people like me. I get compliments, and I'm popular now because all of a sudden like this is my quote unquote secret, but it's like. Part of me, but I was like, like if that was like a younger man, like nah, dude, like you can not work out on your own, but it's more of like I don't know. I would have been willing to help, but I feel now like I'm older. Like it's cool. Like it's almost cool to be in a mentor spot or like
Oh
help that
heck
next.
yeah.
It's there's something fulfilling about that because like dude, this guy's probably like in his mid like 21, 22, and like he looks up to me, and I'm like, and that's what reminds me like, wait, why is he looking up to me? You
Mm,
know. And so that's what oh like he's legitimately like not asking for help. He's like dude like I think I want to like compete one of these days, and I
mm-hmm.
was telling him, dude, like you look like you're ready to go now. Like
Yeah,
just 2 weeks diet, like you're ready. He's like, yeah, I don't know how to pose. I'm like, dude, I
yeah.
can teach you how to pose, bro. Like I've done countless of. So he's like, really? He's like, dude, like here's my number. Like, can I get your number? Like so we can
Hmm.
lift and something. Like I
Yeah.
don't know. There's something cool to be in a mentor spot now for sure. Like definitely. I want to say influencing, but it is influencing and helping the younger generation
Right.
and like I think it's like you said we are creatures of what'd you say conversation or
Social creatures.
yeah we're social creatures like we need to be connected
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
like
yeah.
there's something about that and I think
Yeah.
it's cool doing this podcast and I say it again there's something to being connected socially with people and that's why I want to like open up myself again and because it's easy to like I mean dude like you said for us males like it's easy to just like all right Sam go into this garage go into this house go to work for like 8 hours and don't come back until like you're done with your project or go hey Patrick you're gonna go into the gym for 3 hours and I don't want you to come back until like your muscles are sore like it's easy for us to go do that it's easy for us to
Yeah.
like go work but one of the hardest things for us is like to hey Sam do you have time to like go hang out or something like it's hard. I want to say it's hard for us to make time because also we make time for this. But like, how many of us do that where it's easy to just go isolate ourselves, go on our phone and watch Netflix? And
Yeah.
I know it's a lot easier with when because you have families and stuff, so it's a lot harder. I wouldn't say easier, but it's
Yeah,
harder
okay.
because you have a family. But how much of us who don't have families are single and they're just like. Oh yeah, I texted Sam the other day. Like we
Yeah.
talked, like we quote unquote talked. It's like that's not the real thing.
No, this is true. There's not. You probably could attest to this because there was a period where you were not being super sociable, right? Like, you've grown into it. Not that you weren't sociable ever. You
Yeah.
were. I remember you in high school. You were very sociable.
Oh, for sure.
But there was a period where perhaps you were kind of isolating yourself from people, and then you had to grow it back into a social life, and now you have a lot more. You're more comfortable outdoors and speaking to people. And I'm kind of in that other stage now where I was highly sociable, and as you're talking, like because of work, because all the things, and not putting time into hanging out, going out. Like I remember, like I've never had problems with public, and and I've hosted several things here at home, like birthday parties and stuff, and baptisms. Now I can hardly handle them, like it because like I'm hosting and I completely forgot how to socialize, and I'm just
Oh
like in
man.
almost in panic mode. I'm not necessarily panicking, but you could tell I'm so rusty from socializing that, and it's getting worse. And the last, my girl's birthday party happened not too long ago, and I was in a funk. I was like and I couldn't like connect with anyone. And it's like, what am I doing? These are all my friends. Why can't I connect with anyone? So that was an eye opener. That was not too long ago. I'm like,
Isn't it a terrible
okay,
feeling?
yeah. And it's just like, who am I? I don't recognize myself
This
anymore.
used to be nothing to me. Why is this like affecting me? Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know if you become anxious, but like for me, it's like, yeah, like in proper like big settings or around a lot of people. I remember I used to be like you said, I used to be that person. Again, maybe it's because I had finally like realized why I was that person. Like I was a people pleaser because I wanted people to like me, but
Mhm.
in that Patrick version though, I was able to like spark conversations and literally talk to anybody.
Yeah.
And that's why like it pains me, and that's why I said like it's a terrible thing, because it pains me now too, because I'll catch myself at the gym and I'm like, man, what's wrong with you? You could at least like you used to be friendly to like all these people, and now you just want to like just work out and just leave. Like,
Yeah.
like I don't know. Like you said, I think the sociability or the social aspect in us, if we, it's like a muscle. If we stop being social, it almost like it. Oh, you're losing that muscle, Sam. We're gonna turn you back into like a.
Yeah, I've been thinking about like going back to, because there's a casino, like a small casino in Grover.
Yeah.
That would used to go to like, okay, if I wanted to do like a low activity high. Poker ring. Yeah, I bought this ring from Poker Money. Yeah. Oh, you were there when I bought it, huh?
We picked up this ring that I just touched that Sam has on his right hand. Yeah. We picked it up on the way to the bachelor party.
Yeah, my bachelor party. Yeah, that's true. Yeah. So I got this from my winnings in poker, just to remind me that like it was a victory, since it wasn't a tournament or anything, and I don't have time for tournaments. I'm like, at the very least, I can buy myself a trophy.
I'm big into like that, where like if you won something or like it was a good time, I'm definitely something that you need to buy something to like not remember it by, but like it's cool to like it reminds you of that.
Yeah, if there's ever a game that's really good with social, like to act socially, is poker. I think poker is great.
But it's kind of hard too, though, right? Because like I mean, obviously you're playing with money.
Yeah.
So like, how do you have that fine line of like I want to be friendly, but like. No, F you guys. I'm trying to win all the money.
What I think is, I hate to use the word beautiful about the game, but I do think there's a brilliance to the game, because yes, the money is the aim, but in order to be successful at poker, I mean, you need to stop in poker. You need to not think about the money that much. It's more about the game and working the game, and the game motivates you to be social, because it's a social game, because it's all about putting masks on and removing them and playing with that
quote unquote poker face.
Yeah.
People don't understand.
Putting a face, and then multiple faces, and everyone's doing the same, and it's about trying to read people. And then if the more you know one person, the more like in theory you could understand what cards they're gonna have. So then they feel like, oh, he knows me now or whatever, but it's never an enemy situation. It's more like you want to keep that social thing going. There are poker players that don't talk because they don't want to be social, because they don't want people to connect with you, but there's a drawback on that kind of stuff. But the more social the table is, the more fun the game's going to be.
Well, yes, the more social and fun the game is gonna be, but also your tells are gonna be so like a chameleon, where like, oh, I don't even know if he's bluffing now, like, you know what I mean, like like, oh, like, hey, like, you know what I mean,
yeah,
because it's so joyous, or like, oh, you don't know, and like, oh, hey, I'm gonna go all in, Sam, like,
I think poker is a good, like, it could teach you very much about social interactions.
I mean, it's like seeing physical cues, like, hey, he rubbed his eyebrow like 4 times, like, okay, like.
Well, I mean, that's the same thing with dating, right? You have little habits when you date and you're nervous. There's like so in a way, in a form, all these like bettings and faces. Yeah. It's very much like flirting with each other in a table. Yeah. And so because you're teasing everyone, and you're like, I have something, like, I know something you don't, you know? So that's definitely flirting, you know?
I want to, like, bring it back, because I remember, do you mind if I, like, tell some stories from this? Like, it's not a bad one. No, so I remember Sam told me, like, and it was just like this, but, like, Sam was, like, one of the stories was, like, basically, like, hey, I got a secret, and like, did you say that, where like you turned to like?
Oh yeah, I might have said that last season too.
That's what it reminds me of, but like it's more of, oh damn, like, okay, what does he really have underneath his card? So like, I can't wait to tell us like what he's thinking about, you know. There's something to that, like you said. Yeah. Damn, that is kind of true. Holy shit.
Yeah. Oh. So I'm gonna try, maybe not once a week, because poker is expensive. Yeah. But at the very least, maybe like every other week, go and just time to myself. Abby doesn't really like to go to the table, so it's like, so it's a time for myself, at least for an hour or two, just kind of talk with everyone, get myself known. And every time you go there, we like playing with the same people, because it's like you get rivals. You start getting rivals, and they know your name. And I remember a guy, like, he was successful. And I didn't necessarily got him, but I was getting a feel for him that I kind of knew when he was bluffing. Kind of, not really. But you could tell that he was getting nervous, and he was liking the fact that I was telling it. I was telling, so he was drawn to like, oh, when is he coming back? Or if I'm on the table, or like whenever I'd come, he'd be like, there he is. There's the guy. You know,
no, cool. there's something about that too. Is like you want to get your lick back. Like oh, he got me this time. Like, okay, I can't wait to get him back.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it makes the game more fun, and like you don't want to win all the time. I mean, that's fun too, but like you get bored of the game.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, I mean, for me, I'm glad that you're trying to want to go do that again. For me, I don't know if I saw this somewhere. Like, there's one. I think I've heard somebody or something, or maybe it's been a post, or I want to like schedule a thing for myself, or like it could be you too, like you come with, or like I want to do something every month where it could be a show, or it could be simple as a hike. Just do something like together, or like with somebody like that you want to do with. Dude, I feel like I've been grinding myself to a pulp these last like year and a half, and I honestly I don't have anything to remember.
I have a prediction though.
What?
That you're gonna be busy.
No, dude. I want to do it. Like, I think I want to go to a comedy show tomorrow.
Oh, where at?
It's low. Have you ever Chris D'Elia?
Yes, I know who he is.
So he's coming tomorrow. I don't know if
so he's not in prison?
No, so okay. Okay, so I guess
it's okay. I'm even more intrigued by it.
So I guess like he got all those things. I don't know if he got like hush money, or I don't know what happened, but I guess like
who was the girl? I already forgot.
Basically, long story short, like people don't know. Like, I really like this comedian. I'm sure you do too.
Yeah.
He has like a really silly sense of humor that I like.
Yeah. He's cool. I mean, he's he's cool. I think he's cool.
So the long story short, like I guess he was texting a underage, texting a minor over Snapchat, but I guess he didn't know that was an underage person, and so that's what happened, and they got it. So he's back doing comedy. He started doing comedy.
I didn't
know
the full story. I didn't want, because I remember this was at the height of like Me Too movement.
Yeah.
So I was just kind of fed up, and I did not want to hear any other story because they were depressing.
Yeah.
So like I didn't want to hear any other place. So as soon as the secret still is like, okay, whatever that is, I'm not gonna pay attention to it. But I just remembered that there was a thing with him.
Yeah, or I'll come back to it and see like what happened, like that's resolved. But yeah, like that got resolved, and he's coming tomorrow. And I was thinking like just going.
How much are the tickets? Are they sold out?
It varies. I haven't checked. We could check after, but I want to go to it. It's a Fremont.
Oh yeah. That's usually when they go.
Yeah, so I want to go. It's just like planning things like that. I feel we do so much. Like, we slave away. I mean, I won't say slave away, but we grind ourselves to a pulp on the daily. If you live in the U.S., especially in California, where like freaking it's an arm and a leg and a kidney and a firstborn child to like live here. But it's just, we need to schedule some things in our life, and I feel like doing one thing for yourself once a month is, I don't know, it just definitely have you look forward to something. There's something about it that
you're kind of motivating me right now.
It's just there's something about that. I think there's something about it to look forward to something.
Yeah. You like, not so long ago, my godson came. He didn't know that I knew about like film, and then he told me that he wanted to make movies when he grows up, and I'm like, dude, come over, let me teach you some stuff. And then he came, and then I showed him how to do stop motion animation. I showed him how to do like a short film with cars and Legos. And it wasn't like I had taught him before. I taught him with software, like, just do this and slowly do it. But this time when he came, it was like, okay, this is not, I'm not, you have had fun, but I'm going to show you some serious techniques. And so we did calculations. We did a lot of math and how much you'd have to like move a thing and then do a storyboard, write a little story. And then we did it. And it was all within like 4 hours. So it was a lot of time. I mean, for a short film, no, that's super fast, but it was great, and I did it, and I'll show it to you like after the thing. I don't want to do that to him, because if he doesn't want to show it,
dude, that's freaking awesome. I would love to see it.
Yeah, and so we did that, and it was just really cool, like for a 10-year-old or 11-year-old to do that. That was pretty cool, and I taught him. And I was like, dude, I could totally I could totally do like a short film a month, like something stupid, like. I love storytelling, and I love making films. So it's like, I need to do that more often. And that was like the funnest I had in a really long time with my career, you know? Because I do this with clients and stuff, but it turned into a job, and I'm doing things that, you know, like, I feel are important, but like I feel like it's underappreciated by a lot of people, and a lot of people make it hard for me to like make things. But here's a kid who's like, just tell me everything, and then we did it together, and I was teaching him, and he did it, and I was just kind of supervising, and I would say like, no, don't do that because you forgot about this. So I was helping with continuity, and I'm making sure that it's gonna flow well, and then from scratch, like from an idea, like okay, what do we have? We have Legos and we have cars. Let's make a film with that. And then we went online, looked for inspiration, not looked at like footage of everything, and then let's come up with a little story. Did it, and boom, it finished. And he was so like excited, and he showed his parents, and they were like, "What? You did this?" And then they looked at me, Sam, that was amazing that you done. It was like he did it, and it's like I just showed him how to do it, and it was so fulfilling. I was so happy in that moment,
dude.
And so I'm like, I need to be doing this a lot more. So
fulfillment's such a freaking good feeling. Like that's what I felt when I was talking to that classmate. Even though I haven't done anything with him, but it's fulfillment that like one, he like looks up to me, but one that he's willing to come to me for help, and like eventually I'll probably work out with him at Poly.
Yeah.
But there is some sort of fulfillment where, like you're just helping someone and like seeing one of, I won't say your idea, but seeing someone execute something that you told them to do, and seeing the enjoyment that they get from it, and seeing the, not accolades, but the admiration from his parents that are like, oh, he did that? Like, oh, cool. Like, oh,
yeah. And I talked to him again not too long ago. I was like, do you still want to make films? It's like, I don't have time for it. I was bummed.
Dang.
I was bummed. And I was just like, do you like doing it anymore? He's like, yeah, I do. I just don't have time. It's like, if you love something, you give it time. And like, I'm the one, I shouldn't say that because I haven't given it my passions time.
Yeah.
But it's heartbreaking to see someone else not give their passions because you see yourself in them. It's like, please don't do the same mistakes I've been doing. But I'm trying to teach you, just make the freaking time.
I'm thinking the Interstellar meme where he's like, no. Damn, but there's something to that though, because I think like you said, and I could relate to that as far as like working out wise or even going to the gym. Mm-hmm. Like I said, I've like, oh yeah, I can just go to the gym. Like I just want to get out of there, you know. Yeah. And I want to say like it's become stale for me, but like you said, like you lose the fun because you lose the fun because obviously. Shut up!
Oh shoot! Is he? It's a lawnmower. I think it's a lawnmower.
I think it's a weed whacker. Sounds like a weed whacker.
Okay.
You're good.
Let's just keep going. I'll try my best to take it off. Okay. Because there's no way he's gonna stop right now.
No, it's all
unless we take like a 30-minute break.
No, you're dude. We can. I mean, we're almost done, bro. It's like fucking. It's almost like 1:20,
all right.
1:30.
Yeah, continue.
I mean, 1:20 as far as like the run time.
Yeah,
it's like because this is like 10 minutes off. I think.
Yeah.
It's all good. I think there is just something to have fun with your passion again. Like my passion, like I want to say becomes stale, but it's because of stimulus. Our stimulus, we've nailed it down already. Okay, hey, I can edit this video like really quick. Oh, okay, well, like you said before, like when someone wants you to be part of the project, like, hey, Sam, we just need to edit. And you're just like, like that doesn't sound fun to you or it doesn't sound fulfilling to you, right? Like you said before. For me, it's like, oh, hey, like, can you just show me a workout? I'm like, yeah, I can show you a workout. It's cool, but it's like, I mean, it's cool. Like, you can do this on YouTube.
Yeah.
But part of me wants to, like, be part of, like, a journey, you know?
Yeah.
Like, something about that where it doesn't make it stale anymore. It makes it fun again.
Yeah.
It reminds you of, like, when you were coming up into your hobby or your passion. Like, because I remember when my coach helped me, and, like, I look at him like, damn, I'm at the age where he helped me.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, crap, like... Okay.
Have you been able to find more passion in the working out stuff?
Oh, definitely. Again, for sure. I think it's. I don't know. I want to say if it's easier, but like when my nutrition's on point, it feels great to feel. I feel like a lot of people underestimate the power of being able to move and feel healthy about yourself. Yeah. So, you know, like.
Have you ever tested it? Like not by lifting weights, but like testing your athletic abilities using your strength? Like in some dimension or form, you know, like I don't know. I'm trying to think of something.
I mean, I can, so like my programming, a lot of people probably don't know, I program my own like lifting routines and all that stuff. So yeah, I mean, you've done it with me, and that I've kept it basically the same thing, but there's a hypertrophy phase, and like this is more about like, okay, like controlling the weight, and I'll do 4 weeks of that. Like basically, like it's a periodization where like it slowly escalates to a heavy weight, and then I'll have strength phase of my programs where 3 weeks I'm trying to like work myself up to like a heavy load where like it's almost like a max reps, like, oh shit, like this is heavy weight, like okay, like. So today at the rec center, like I was able to do dumbbells and I did 110. I haven't done 110 in a minute, but I was able to get it for 6. I was like, oh shit, like I was on
Damn,
4 hours of sleep, shitty food. I mean, my nutrition's back on point, but like I only had 4 hours of sleep. Like what the hell? I should not be lifting like this. And I was telling my classmate, and I was like, dude, we just let it rip today, and I don't know. I think. Yeah, I mean, it was cool to like test that again because I've been eating kind of shitty, obviously, because freaking the holidays. It's so easy, it's so easy to.
Still a good man.
Yeah, thank you, but it's more like skin wise. I feel
gotcha.
better wise, and like also my body too. I feel like I'm leaning up again, so it feels good. I just done a bunch of research, and I can go into a little more about it. I don't want to bore people about it, but
I think anything's good.
no, it's just I'll go into it more in another episode because I know we've spent some time on it, but
It's a 120 actually. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
The first 5 minutes
Okay.
we're just like starting anyway.
All right.
Yeah.
That was a good thing for sure, but no, I mean it's just I'm having fun with lifting again for sure.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah, the reason why I asked, like, if you're, like, don't you feel like you kind of like you kind of hinted at it about like feeling that passion again. You kind of feel like you're a kid again, right? A little bit.
Dude, it feel, and especially because you get to help, like, is your godson?
Yeah, when
Dude.
I did it, I was just like, I was rejuvenated by doing that. It was
it's
so
like a
cool.
shot into your arm. You're like, ah,
More
alright,
crack.
cool. Yeah, dude, it literally is that. It's almost
Dude,
like it's like a second wind. It's almost like holy shit. Like okay, I feel renewed again. Like let's go make a film. Like let's write a story, or oh let me write this program for you. Oh when we're gonna lift. Like just hit me up when you want to lift. Or it's almost because it's like you said, we can like do our own goals, and it's sometimes it's hard to like get up to do our own goals, right? Because we know like what it takes, like we know like like I said, I always say we know what's behind the curtain, we know like the ins and outs of everything, but there's something about it where you're teaching it to someone else, or like seeing the fascination in their eyes, or you know, like we're like, oh shit, I did not know that, and there's something to that because I think it's just you get up for those moments because. Yeah, who knows? Like you that moment could affect your godson. And like, oh, I remember my godfather taught me this, and oh crap, like maybe I can go back to him like in a high school project or something, you know?
Yeah.
So, yeah, I didn't realize that those stop motion, dude. I didn't realize how long those movies take to make.
Yeah, it takes
and
a
I don't
while.
think people understand that. Like, dude, was it Wallace and Gromit or freaking those movies took like 2 to 4 years to make. Or
Yeah,
something.
that makes sense. Yeah,
I was like, damn.
Yeah. The latest one that came out, Netflix released one from Wallace and Gromit. I noticed that there was some CGI.
Yeah.
I was just like, dang. Like they're going. I mean, they still have a lot of this. Most of it was stop motion, I'm sure, but you could tell there were certain things that were CGI, which I'd never seen in the Wallace and Gromit movie.
Dang.
I was just like, huh. I didn't know how to feel about that. I mean, there's nothing wrong with VFX.
Yeah.
It's just like, it's hard to see it in one of those films when they never had it. I mean, it was cool. There was that movie, what do you call it, Paranorman? Which is very cool. They actually had like a mixture of CGI and stop motion. Paranorman, the one about like zombies. I think.
I would have to see it.
Anyway, well, there's nothing against CGI if the movie was meant to, but I've never seen it in Wallace and Gromit movie.
Okay.
And if there was, I never noticed it, but I noticed it in the latest one that Netflix produced.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a little heartbreaking, but yeah, dude, those things take forever.
I didn't realize.
It takes an army to make a movie.
Damn. So that must have been cool to like for your godson to see them. Like I actually do want to see. So
Yeah.
You gotta play for me.
Yeah, I don't want to put it on YouTube just because it's his, and
Yeah.
like, what if he wanted to do an old YouTube channel? So I'm sorry, guys, but you won't see
And that
it.
resurfaces and like he becomes this popular YouTuber. Oh, look at this trash thing that he's made, and blah,
Yeah,
blah, blah, and
yeah,
it comes
so-
back to bite him in the butt.
Yeah, well, I mean, if he uploaded to YouTube, I'll figure it out, and if he does, I'll make sure to like link it somewhere.
Okay, cool.
But yeah.
Yep.
Anyway, it's just a little his first film, his first short film.
Nice.
And by the way, like we all hate our first few films, but really they're beautiful to watch because you're learning, you know.
Well,
As long as it's coherent, it makes sense, and it, you know.
Well, I think it's cool to look back like when we first started, right? Like it's cringy. You're like, oh, I can't believe I did that, or why did I work? Like, why did I post this picture of myself, or why did I look at that? Like, what I look.
Do you remember the films we used to do together?
Oh yeah, I mean, but there's beauty to that because like you understand like, oh wow, like we were decent, like in our heads we were decent at that time, right? And then you look back like, man, I progressed so much as a fililmmaker, right?
Yeah.
Or, like,
but I'm fascinated with like how good we were for that age, you know?
Dude, we were about it, man. Like we were, and you know, things like we're nothing without our teachers, you know. And so like I think Mr. G was like, dude, he was awesome, man. Like,
yeah, Mr. G was great. He was a great facilitator. He just didn't like violence, so I like a lot of action-y stuff.
Yeah.
So I remember my first script that I wrote, I was like, this is such a great story. I can't wait to show it to Mr. G. He saw it, he's like, nope.
Hey, but he didn't like violence, but I had that kung fu fighting one.
This is true. Yeah, but he saw it as silly, maybe.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, we did a kung fu one.
Yeah. Oh, I don't want to see that. See, I think of myself like, remember we were talking about those loud outbursts?
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
Dude, I don't want to see that. I mean, I don't care. We could show like a still of that thing, but
yeah,
I'm so skinny in that picture, and like the things that I wore in that video, I still remember. Backwards white hat, white buckle belt.
Oh, you had that punk look a little bit.
Yeah, because I worked at PacSun.
The emo look. Oh yeah, PacSun. You had a lot of PacSun.
Where are you?
For sure. You and Hoser. Well, you weren't. Yeah, you were like in the same kind of like.
Yeah.
Stereotype, I guess.
Damn, good times.
Yeah.
Good times, dude.
Yeah, I wonder if he's still like as agile as he used to be. Right? How I remember you guys would like get on top of buildings, and he went. I remember when on one of the music videos we did, he went on top of the goalpost. He just like climbed it. It was fucking tall. He just like walked it like nothing.
Walked it like nothing. We're like, I probably would have
break your neck.
Yeah, you could easily hurt yourself. Like, oh,
he didn't give a shit.
And all for what? It was just a video. Like,
yeah.
It wasn't being compensated. Like,
yeah. He would get hurt. He would get hurt on camera for the camera, right?
Yeah.
So he would have been a great like stunt double if he kept it on.
Yeah.
Maybe he still can. I don't know. I haven't talked to him. The last time I saw him was at my wedding.
Yeah, that was the last time because now he lives in Iowa, so.
Iowa?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Dang.
Yeah.
Cheers to you. Hoser.
Cheers, Hoser. If he watches.
Yeah, if he does. Yeah.
What do you think on runtime? You think it's... We'll talk about the things that we want to talk about next episode.
Yeah, I feel like we never actually get to them.
Hey, but it gives more episodes for the people, too.
Yeah, this is true. This is true. We should have an episode where you actually give us advice on, like, just working out. What's a good, like, how to think about working out more in depth into your mind and how to work out. Because I feel like I would love that episode so I could go back to it all the time.
See?
And a lot of people would probably like it, too.
No, I'm down to do that. I'm definitely down to do that. Just because I'll, like, I pull a Kanye, like, I'll re-listen to our episodes, and I'm like, holy crap, like, Sam's
Watch
like...
it on TV with a little whiskey and cognac and a
like,
cigar.
Dude, Sam literally says, like, some panty dropping lines. And it's just, like, it sticks with you, and I'll be at Paul, I'm like, dang, that it'll stick with me, and I'll, like, recite in my head, like, holy shit, like, don't put blocks in your way when you don't have to. Like, yeah, like, why am I doing that? Like, okay, and it makes me really think about it in depth wise, but yeah, man. This is another good one. I think this was more tailored to like our men listeners, but I think at the same time I think some female listeners can take away some stuff.
Yeah, or give us some advice.
Yeah.
For sure.
I know you can drop some comments in our Spotify or YouTube, Instagram. Yeah, we're all over that, so.
Yep.
What do you think, we should wrap it up, Sam?
If you want to. Yeah, we can.
Okay, for sure.
Okay. Well,
I don't want to take up too much of your time.
No, it's all good. Well, yeah, I do have to continue that app.
Yeah.
But thanks for doing this.
Thank you, Sam.
Yeah.
Bye.
Next week.
See you.